Hi, happy Chanukah. I hope everyone's doing well. Before I start this Torah, I would like to mention that I got it from the Sefer Mashal Tov. Believe it or not. I have a question that perhaps some of you have wondered. We know that we celebrate Chanukah for 8 whole days because of the great miracle that occurred. When the Maccabees won the war and entered the Beit HaMikdash, they only found enough pure oil to burn in the menorah for 1 whole day. That became another nace in the story of Nisim because that oil remained lit for 8 days. But wait a minute. If there was enough oil to last for 1 day, then doesn't that mean the miracle was only 7 of those 8 days? So if we are celebrating the miracle of the oil, why do we celebrate Hanukkah for 8 days? Should we celebrate Hanukkah for 7 days instead? To be able to get an answer to these questions, with your permission, I'll now share a mashal. There's a museum that some of you guys have either heard of or been to. It's called the Believe It or Not Museum. This museum displays all sorts of peculiar and special things that are very hard to believe. For example, a display you can find there is a life-size statue of a man with 20 fingers, or the man who was born with 2 heads, or a third life-size figure of a man with 4 hands and 4 feet. This museum wanted to add more to its galleries, but didn't have enough space, so they hired a manager to help figure out what to do about the space issue. Hey everyone, I'm the new manager here, and I'm super educated and I've got all these degrees. I'm going to make this place become famous again. You there, take me around this museum now so I can see where we can make some improvements on our space issues here. As he began his tour, he got very frustrated by the amount of space being wasted. The tour guide became very confused because he saw nothing wrong. It's become clear that you are a simpleton. So let me explain. People come to this museum to see the unbelievable. Things that are common or normal aren't interesting. This statue of a man with 20 fingers, look at my hands. How many fingers do I have? 10. So 10 of these fingers are ordinary and the other 10 are extraordinary. Get rid of the 10 ordinary fingers on the statue and we will have extra space. No one wants to see the ordinary ones. They got to the statue with the man with 2 heads, and the manager said, everyone has a head. The first head is ordinary and only the second one is amazing. Get rid of the first one and we will save so much more space. You got the idea. He continued through the entire museum this way. The museum was then shut down for renovations, and when it reopened, a school took its annual trip to the museum. The teacher was so excited as they started their tour. I've been to this museum, and it truly is an amazing place. Here, on the right, is a man with 20 fingers. Excuse me, teacher, I know I failed the math test, but he only has 10 fingers. I know that I have 10 fingers, but what's so special about him having those 10 fingers? They proceeded with the tour, and each exhibit they went to, this happened. Soon people weren't coming to the museum. The manager was confused. Why aren't people coming? I made it so much better. Well, boss, I can't listen to you. You're simple, I'm deep. Yes, but simple people like me are the ones who come here. You need to include the normal parts so that it's clear that the extra parts are amazing. If you only include the interesting parts, then it becomes not interesting at all. That's a good point. What degree do you have? It's called the degree of common sense. I've never heard of it. Yes, I noticed. The nimshal to this is, the reason we light for 8 days is because the menorah in the Beit HaMikdash burned for 8 days. Yes, 7 of those days were miraculous, but those 7 days are only amazing because they were more than 1 day that the oil should have burned for. If we don't include the first in the celebration, then we won't remember the menorah that actually stayed lit for 8 days. You need the normal in order to make the ordinary be extraordinary. I hope you all have a beautiful Chanukah filled with lots of simcha, bracha, and refuah.